This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by TidalHealth.
So with word that the Delta variant of COVID-19 is rapidly spreading, you might be thinking, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, but there still seems to be a lot of uncertainty and unanswered questions about what's going on. So we brought in TidalHealth's Chief Quality Officer, Dr. Chris Snyder, to see if he can help us better understand this whole situation. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
So I guess right out of the gate, we have to ask you, are you concerned?
Sure. Yeah, there's definitely a rise. The vaccination's definitely helping because it reduces the effect of the even the variant. So, but the Delta variant is one of these things that, you know, viruses migrate, so they change. We kind of knew this would happen, just when and how and the effects of it are key. So there's a lot of good studies coming out right now, though, with really good protective mechanisms associated with the vaccination. So right now we don't know what our population has, though, so because we send the results out for folks we screen, and we don't get them back for a couple weeks, so it's really testing's limited around it.
Oh, I was going to ask if you're seeing much Delta variant around here, but
we really don't know.
Okay.
We're seeing breakthrough. Folks who are vaccinated get sick, but they're not awfully sick. They stay home, so we send them home a lot. We've had a couple that were sick, but they were underlying illness, so they had cancer and were on chemo, and unfortunately were vaccinated prior to chemo, and they still got COVID.
Yeah.
So they've been hospitalized precautionarily, but they're going home. So mortality rates is really low, which is wonderful.
So how is the Delta variant different from what we've been dealing with for the past year and a half?
Yeah. So it's definitely got more symptom-based worsening. So folks are getting sicker with it if they're not vaccinated. The biggest studies have been done over in Israel. So Israel's kind of leading the way because they had the highest rated Delta variant early on. So they started obviously isolating those folks and managing them differently and studying them. So the good news is that the folks who are vaccinated, they're testing the vaccine over there. Their early trials actually are just released today, show that there's actually an immunity that is happening. So it's a positive thing, but it doesn't happen in everybody. So I thought the best example of the vaccination prevention is a seatbelt. So if you wear it, you can still get in a car accident, right? But it protects you, so that's what the vaccine does. And that's really the simple message with this is get vaccinated. We're still very low. I mean, worldwide, there's only probably about 5.5 billion people who have actually gotten one vaccine, but we're only at about 30% one vaccine, but they're only at 15% dual vaccination. So, so that's pretty low still. And a lot of that's third world countries, they don't have access to it, but we're not third world in the U.S., so we really need to take advantage.
so it seems like the numbers are coming back up. Do you see us going back to where we were as far as restrictions?
No, absolutely not. I don't think so. Again, herpes is forever, so is COVID. We're always going to have this virus. It's not going away. So we're dealing with it much better than we were before. We have a lot more knowledge than we did 18 months ago. So as science gets better and more informed, as Israel does their studies, Saudi Arabia, the US, we'll see more and more advantage to treatments hopefully in the near future. But it's just a matter of people got to accept the fact that we're going to have it. And we've changed a lot of things in the hospital as far as isolation and all because we have better knowledge of how to manage it.
So bottom line, what should we be doing? What's your number one piece of advice?
Vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Absolutely, 100%.
Masks?
Yeah, the masks are important. Transmission is there, especially with the, even if you're vaccinated, you can get sick. Like I said, it's a seatbelt theory, so you can still have a car accident. But you don't get as sick. And the carrying, that one study in Israel also looked at the viral load and they said it was high, but you had a lot of antibodies that were protecting you, so so you didn't get as sick, which is the key. So much like with flu, you can still get different flus every year because of the migration and the DNA and the RNA changes that occur, but it's really important. People have to understand the protection is the key, and we're not going to, it's not going away. So we all have to realize that we're going to be dealing with this. So the masks are important, especially in areas where you know somebody could be exposed or is at high risk, so hospitals, for example.
Put your seatbelt on.
Put your seatbelts on.
Amen to that.
TidalHealth's Dr. Chris Snyder, as always, thank you so much for that important information.
Thanks.